The Jets Ward.
Jets, Jets. What is going on, Jet fans? And welcome back to another episode of The Jets Ward. I am your host, Ryan Ward, and I'm so excited to be back with you guys. I got a fun one for you guys in this video. But first, if you have been here before, welcome back. You know I love having you guys here in The Jets Ward. You guys, I love making these videos for you, and I'm so glad you keep coming back for more. If you are new here, welcome. Whether you're a Jets fan, a fan of another NFL team, or just a casual NFL fan, you are always welcome here. It is a safe space for you. Now, guys, the Jets got their asses kicked yesterday by the Miami Dolphins, 34-10, and our defense looked abysmal. Let up 21 points in the first quarter. The Jets were down 21-0 in the first quarter. And we let up over 249 rushing yards as well. The defense utterly collapsed. This is for like what we saw in the beginning of the season. They were playing better recently, but yesterday was a disaster. And it's got all Jets fans talking. This guy's been on the hot seat all year. Steve Wilks. Now, Steve Wilks is a veteran coach in this league. He has been around for a long, long time, has had success as a defensive coordinator, and a little success as a head coach for the Carolina Panthers. He's done a lot and has helped out a ton of teams. But for our New York Jets, it hasn't been great. And people have been calling for his head earlier in this season, thinking that he should have been fired and gone. And after the game, Aaron Glenn even said he has to take a look at his coaching staff and see what's going on with it, because it's been bad, especially on defense. So, should Steve Wilks be fired? Well, let's look at the numbers and talk about how he's done with this defense throughout this year. Where our rankings are, what's going on with it, the players that we have. Has anybody gotten better? Has anybody gotten worse? So, looking at Steve Wilks, he's 56 years old. He's our defensive coordinator. Our defensive rankings, the Jets are 17th in the NFL in total defense. Not great, not bad. They're middle of the pack, basically, out of 32 teams. In passing defense, they're 10th. So their defensive backs have gotten better as the season has gone on. And think about it. After we traded Sauce, Brandon Stevens really stepped up. He's been playing good. A.Z. Thomas has been looking solid as well. Malachi Moore has looked good. The other safety position is a struggle right now between Tony Adams. Andre Sisco was there before. He was a disaster out there. We're looking at a lot of different people back there at the other safety position. But as of now, the Jets have the 10th ranked passing defense. Rushing defense, on the other hand, we are 25th. It's been awful. Teams have been killing us. And if Devon Achane didn't get hurt, he had 92 yards rushing. And he was out the whole entire second half of the game. I don't even think he played that much in the second quarter when he got hurt. He was running all over us. And then Jalen Wright comes in and just pounds the ball on us and kills us in the running game. And our linebackers have looked awful. Jamien Sherwood is a shell of himself. We give him this monster contract, and he's been bad. He's regressed to the point where he is a liability out there on the field. We have Francisco Mauigoa, who has shown glimpses that he can be solid out here, but he's another role player. He's not a starter. Then we have Quincy Williams. He's on his last year of his deal. I don't think the Jets are going to bring him back. I don't think he'll want to come back. He's been looking good, but he's still been getting beat up in the pass game as well. Our defense, our linebackers especially, haven't been showing any toughness. It's been very rough to watch, and we haven't been getting any pressure. Jermaine Johnson comes back from an injury and is supposed to, we're not thinking he's going to be dynamic all the time, but he's supposed to show more. He was non-existent in the game against the Dolphins yesterday. Will McDonald, non-existent yesterday, getting blown up off the ball. And the issue with him too is he'll go off on a week with three sacks, and then the next 2 to 3 weeks, you won't hear a peep from him. So Michael Clemens, not a starter in the league. I know he's been in on a couple sacks the past couple of weeks, but he gets blown off the ball too. Harrison Phillips is a solid starter at defensive tackle. Juwan Briggs has been doing very, very well as well, but I think we need more on that defensive line to help out. Mazzie Smith, we traded for him when we traded Quinnen Williams. We haven't seen much of him. Jalen Saunders comes in. He hasn't been doing much. Jay Tafele looked great in preseason, not doing much now. The Jets defense as a whole is we don't have that much talent on the defense. And let's be honest, looking at it, maybe Jermaine Johnson is just an okay edge rusher. Good, but not great. Will McDonald, very streaky. We don't have a lot of consistency on this defense. The pressure rate's not great. The run defense, awful. So it's gotten to the point where you got to look at our defensive coordinator. And to make things worse too, the Jets are the only team that doesn't have an interception. None. Zero. Can't even fall into an interception. They're making history right now. The Jets have 0 interceptions. That is crazy in this league now. How do they not have any interceptions? What are they teaching them? Steve Wilks, honestly, I've been a fan of his. I like Steve Wilks. But man, it has been rough to watch this defense a good amount of this year. And honestly, I think there's a huge possibility that Steve Wilks could be a one-and-done defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. I think it's a big possibility now, especially after that Miami game. You got to take a look at these players, what you're teaching them and stuff like that. The regression that Jamie and Sherwood took, the regression some of these other players took as well. I understand you got a lot of rookies out there or one-year guys, young team, but we got to be better especially at home against a team that doesn't typically do very well in the cold. We've never beaten the Miami Dolphins when Tua Tagovailoa is starting. We're 0-7 against them. McDaniels looked like he was having the time of his life calling all these offensive plays against the Jets. Everything worked for them. McDaniels out-coached Aaron Glenn and Steve Wilks. And honestly, I've been defending Steve Wilks all this year. I think it might be time to move on. At the end of the year, I think he needs to be a one-and-done coach because it's just not working. It's not – the players might like him, but it's not working at this point. And with that being said, I've come up with a list of guys that I think could be solid replacements that could turn the tables for this defense and be like, look at Chris Banjo, first-time special teams coordinator. Our special teams unit is firing all cylinders, has been the best part of this team. Maybe we can go into the pool of younger coaches to come out who have never had a defensive coordinator position, but look like they can fit the part. And the first one is a guy that is going to be looked at a lot, his name has been passed around a lot. Former Jets player as well, Jim Leonhard. Why not Jim Leonhard? He is right now the Broncos defensive backs coach. He's only 43 years old. He had success on the defensive side of the ball in college coaching at Maryland. He's with the Broncos right now, the defensive backs coach there. That defense has been firing on all cylinders as well this year. The defensive backs there too, even without Patrick Surtain playing a lot of the season, have been solid. Jim Leonhard is primed to become a defensive coordinator. I think he'd be very successful. And honestly, I would like to bring back a former player. Why not bring back Jim Leonhard? He was very successful with the Jets. He was former safety for us. He's shown that he has what it takes to coach in this league. Bring him in, first-time defensive coordinator. I think he would be solid. I think he could relate to these players very well, and get them to fight for him, get them to play for him. And I think Aaron Glenn should consider it if Steve Wilks is gone, if he gets fired. Jim Leonhard, I think, could be a very, very good option as a defensive coordinator for the New York Jets next year. Another option. Why not go into the college football? Dive into that. Oregon's defense is fantastic under this guy right here, Tosh Lupoi. He's a defensive coordinator for Oregon. He's 44 years old. Total defense this year, 3rd in the nation. Passing defense, 3rd in the nation. Rushing defense, top 20 in the nation. He's got those guys firing on all cylinders. Mateo Ungale over there, defensive end, looking like one of the best edge rushers in college football. Amori Washington, looking like one of the better defensive tackles. Bear Alexander as well, somebody who's not being mentioned a lot, has been solid for that team this year. The Oregon Ducks defense has been fantastic. And I think it's priming this guy whether to become a head coach in college or to move up to the NFL and be a defensive coordinator. I think he'd be a successful defensive coordinator in the NFL, taking what he's got from college and bringing it to this league, bringing it to the NFL. He's a fiery guy. He likes to do more zone. And, well, actually, he does a lot of mixtures of both zone and man. He gets these guys firing. He gets these guys on very intricate blitzes, stunts that confuse offensive lines. I think Lupoi could be somebody who could be very, very good as a defensive coordinator in the NFL, and somebody who I'd be happy the Jets take a shot on if Steve Wilks does not return next year. So dipping into the college pool, continuing on, going back to the NFL, Eagles. I know their defensive backs haven't been great this year, but Christian Parker, the youngest guy on this list, he's had a lot of success working under Vic Fangio. Fangio likes Christian Parker, and this guy's been learning under him for years now. He's the Eagles pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach. He's only 33 years old. A guy who is showing a lot of promise as a guy who could be a solid potential defensive coordinator and possibly head coach later down the road. But starting out as a defensive coordinator, again, another young dude who can relate to these players, get them firing on all cylinders, brings a new type of attitude, mentality to this defense, gets them to play physical, gets them to play aggressive. Somebody who I think Aaron Glenn would love to bring into. I understand you're looking at the Eagles defense. They need cornerbacks over there. They need help on the defensive backside. But overall, I think this guy could be a solid defensive coordinator and would liven things up on the defense as well and possibly get this defense to fight even more for this team. Young, fiery guy. I think he'd be very good as a defensive coordinator for the Jets. Continuing on, looking over at Seattle, we got Jeff Howard, Seahawks defensive backs coach. Has been working there for a couple years, has had success with the Chargers as well. He's only 42 years old. You're looking at the Seahawks defense. They've been fantastic this year. Their defensive backs have been solid. They've been getting after the quarterback. Jeff Howard is primed to be a defensive coordinator in this league. And I think the Jets could take a shot on him with how much success and promise he's had at getting these players to play to the best of their ability. Tyreek Woolen, who I know they might not like that much, but he was playing at the top of his game earlier in his career. And Jeff Howard comes in, and these guys fight back there. They are a tough group. And just take a look at their defensive backs. They've got young guys back there, and they are fiery. They are aggressive. They are going to pop you. And Jeff Howard gets them playing physical, which is something that this Jets defense under Aaron Glenn, what we want to do. We want to play physical. We want to play fast. We want to play aggressive. Jeff Howard's getting the Seahawks defense to play that like that, the defensive backs to play like that. I would take a shot on him as a defensive coordinator. And my last guy on the list, and this is a guy who I don't think the Jets will consider, honestly, but a name to throw out there, Antonio Pierce. And I know what you're saying. You're looking at the last time he was a coach in the league, he was the head coach of the Raiders. He got fired. He wasn't a successful head coach. But if you're looking at his time with the Raiders, he's only 47 years old. He was their head coach and former head coach and former defensive coordinator. I have right here his 2024 defensive rankings. In total defense, the Raiders were 14th. Passing defense, they were 11th. Rush defense, 15th. He had that defense playing pretty well. He had them fighting. He had them being aggressive to the point where when he took over in 2023, halfway through the year, Max Crosby said he would rather leave the Raiders, want to be traded, if the Raiders didn't hire him full-time to be their head coach. The defense fought for him. He had Trayvon Merrick playing much better to get a big contract from the Panthers. He had Robert Spillane, a guy that was just a dude in this league, playing high-end linebacker for them, being a focal point on that defense, who got a big contract from the Patriots. He had these young guys playing very, very well, these big-name guys now that you'd want on any of your defenses. Antonio Pierce is a fiery guy. He does a lot more zone and doesn't blitz as much, but he was still getting tons and tons of pressure from that Raiders front seven. I think he was a former linebacker. I think he get our linebackers to play much better, our safeties to play much better, and I think he can get the best out of our edge rushers too. So Antonio Pierce, guy with experience, guy that's not that old either, has experience as a head coach, defensive coordinator, has shown success as a defensive coordinator. These are guys you got to look at. I think you have to take a look at if the Jets were to fire Steve Wilks at the end of the season. Now, will it happen? I'm not sure. Could it happen? Definitely. With how the Jets defense has played this year, with no interceptions and just getting beaten like a drum against the Dolphins, it's kind of bad. It's really bad. You take a look, and Wilks has been on the chopping block most of this season. He's had his high points with this defense, getting them to play hard, but it hasn't been good. The run defense was destroyed yesterday. Pass defense, Tua was making plays, but there were times where we should have had interceptions. But again, too, the linebacker play has been awful. The amount of times tight ends have run across the middle and there be nobody on them, wide open people, it's been crazy this year under Steve Wilks. So as somebody who's defending him, I do like him, but it hasn't worked out for the New York Jets. And I think the Jets really do need to consider moving on from him after the NFL season and going with one of the guys that I've brought up. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you are a fan of Steve Wilks and want him to stick around, let me know down in the comments. If you're somebody who wants him gone now, wants him gone at the end of the season, what options would you have as defensive coordinator for the New York Jets for going into 2026? I'd love to hear from you guys. Make sure you like this video. Hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. Gets my videos out through the Google or the YouTube formula and everything. Make sure you hit that bell for any notifications. Like the video. And follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Follow me on X. I post all my videos there as well. And again, guys, I really appreciate you. I love you. And thank you so much for joining me in the JETS Jets Ward. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
The Jets Ward.